Record. Awesome. Okay. So today, I'm going to talk about kind of my journey and lessons I've learned. Um, so as you know, I'm Katie Hendrickson. I helped coordinate this event today, and I'll be talking about lessons from a programmer who hated programming and how I ended up loving it. So I'm sure you're wondering why would you ever major in something that you hated? And that's a really great question, right? Because in order to understand that, you kind of have to understand my journey and like all the different things that happened. So it all started back in high school. I joined the robotics team. Um, and I joined the robotics team because I had some friends and some mentors on the team who were like, oh my gosh, like you'd be so good at this. Like you should totally just try it out for one day and like just come to one meeting. And then little did I know that one meeting would turn into like every day of high school. But I ended up really loving it. But I kind of had some misconceptions about robotics. I was like, robotics, like it doesn't fit me. Like I love like shopping and like hanging out with people and going out to eat. And like robotics people don't love that, right? So that was kind of like a misconception I had because I was like, I found out like, oh my gosh, yeah, you can love like shopping and robotics, and that's totally cool. But as you can see, I did not know what I was doing at all my first year in robotics. Like I like wore my safety glasses like always on top of my head, which, they're supposed to be on your eyes. And then I also had my hair down just because I don't like putting my hair up. So that was also a big problem. And then also you could just see all the danger around me everywhere. There's like machines going like everywhere. There's like sparks flying. It's just not a smart decision, but eventually I figured out what I was doing on robotics, and I was the captain of the team my senior year. So I joined sophomore year. I became the captain senior year, even though I had never touched the robot or programmed anything at this point. I was purely just like the outreach business person. I was super good at like getting people excited about technology or getting them engaged or finding stuff for them to do on the team. So anyway, I became the captain. I was super excited. I was like, okay, we're going to be the best team in the entire world. And in order to do that, we needed to run a bunch of free programming camps. So I was like, okay, I'm going to schedule 30 programming camps, and we're going to like go do a bunch of like really awesome outreach stuff. And we're also going to like be like just the best robot team ever. So anyway, I scheduled 30 camps, and none of the programmers wanted to teach the camp, which was like, oh, this isn't good. So I have all these students coming and we don't have a teacher for the programming camps. So I was like super stubborn. I was like, fine, I'll like learn how to program to teach these camps. Um, so that's what I did. I was like, okay, this will be awesome. Like, what could go wrong? So that's how I learned to program. And I was like, this isn't too bad. Like, why not? Like, I really like this. So, well, I don't know if I really liked it. I was just like, I didn't know what to do with my life. I was kind of like, I'll go, like, I really wanted to go into nursing. So I was like, that way I can help people. But at the same time, I decided I shouldn't go into nursing because I get super grossed out easily. I'm like super afraid of needles. I don't like gross things. Like it just wasn't a good like career field for me. Like I think it would have been awesome, but just when I wouldn't have enjoyed the work, I don't think. So anyway, I was like, computer science is cool. Like I can do outreach stuff too, probably at least. And that's the part of robotics I absolutely loved, was like that outreach, because I got to run the camps and we got to go speak at the United Nations. And we even got to go to Poland and like teach camps over there and talk to their government and like everything. And I was like, okay, if this is what robotics is about, like I can deal with that. Like I'd enjoy that. Um, so I decided to major in computer science, but it was definitely an interesting choice. Also my senior year, I won the Twist Epic Award. So it's kind of like the Aspirations in Computing Award, but like Target's version. So I definitely recommend applying for that this year. I got so many opportunities from that. And I didn't really realize like how impactful that was in high school, like, because just so many of the opportunities I have now like started with that like award, which is so cool. And I did not think I'd like, at the time, I was like, why are they giving me this like technology award? Like, I'm not a technologist. Like, I just do outreach events, but I was super grateful for it. And I took the opportunity. I was like, okay, this will be great. Like, I got this. But anyway, so decided to major in computer science at Bethel University, which is in Arden Hills, suburb of St. Paul. And I was like so excited because my brother went there and he majored in computer science too. And he just made it look so easy. So I was like, yeah, computer science is easy. Like, I'll breeze through this and just have a ton of fun at college. Little did I know that computer science is actually a ton of work and programming is super hard. But I was like, okay, even if I hate coding, I just have to get through. I just have to get that piece of paper, like then I can because I knew like once you get into a career in like computer science or technology, like there's other options for you. Like you don't have to stay a programmer forever. You could do like project management, or you could do like actual like engineering management. So I was like, okay, just gonna stick through it. But it was really hard for a couple of reasons. I was the only girl in the program, which was like not a good time. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was really hard for me because I don't know, like I just didn't feel like I really fit in with my classmates. Like the guys were super nice and they were really awesome, but at the same time, it was like challenging for me just because I don't know, I just didn't feel like I belonged necessarily. But anyway, I ended up from the Twist Epic Awards, I heard about this Women in Technology Symposium. And I had done PSEO in high school. So I got like my senior year, I was also taking 4 college classes and 4 high school classes at the same time. It was crazy. But anyway, I got a year done of college early, which I totally recommend looking into. It's a lot of work, but it saves a lot of money and time. But anyway, end of my first year at college, I got to go to the Women in Tech Symposium. And this was such a cool event. It was 50 women from all around the United States. And I got to meet them and like talk to them. And it was so awesome because I got to like learn like there's like other people like me in computer science. Like some people like shopping and they've also cried while they're coding before, or like discrete math was like super hard for them too. So it just made me feel better to know that I wasn't the only one just like struggling through. And also it's just cool to like go to Target. This is also where I got offered the Target internship. So such a cool event. But anyway, a couple weeks later, I started my first internship at OneOhm, which was a healthcare startup. And I was like kind of nervous, kind of excited. I was like, okay, I haven't done programming in a professional setting before. But I was really excited because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like totally going to be great, because I was super excited about healthcare and like nursing. And now I'm excited about technology. And this combines the two because they're a health care startup that worked with the Mayo Clinic. Super cool. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And it actually was a really great experience for me. And like, it wasn't really as much the work that made it great. It was the people that I worked with that really made the difference. So I don't know if I totally would have ended up staying in like computer science if it wasn't for this internship. It was so impactful. I sat next to this guy named Hunter, who's like absolutely amazing and helped me all the time. And my manager, Kurt, was also really great. And he always took the time to like explain things over and over and over again. Cause like for me, I like don't get concepts the first time in computer science. So I have to like ask again and again. And he was like totally cool with it. And he made me feel like that was okay and great. So, and also the guy, Hunter, he always would say like, whenever I'd ask a question, he'd always be like, oh yeah, like let's add another tool to your toolbox. And it was always like, just like a positive thing that I was learning more, not like a negative thing that like I didn't know something I should have known, which like totally makes sense, right? Like how could you know something that no one's ever taught you? So that was kind of my experience at OneOhm. Awesome. Would totally recommend doing an internship. It's a cool experience. I think it's different for me too, because I was never the type who did like coding projects in my free time. I was always like doing outreach events instead. But like working on a real project was like so cool, and like working with other people is like what I like about coding. So anyway, another thing that really helped me get through computer science in general was getting super involved in the community, because like I didn't really have a community, I guess, in my computer science department program type thing, you know, because I was the only woman. But I found other groups outside of Bethel that like did have other women who were excited about technology. And I think that was like super helpful for me too, just because like having other people that are like you and that you can like ask questions to and trust is like so valuable. But I not only got to like meet people who are like me, I also got to do tons of cool outreach and volunteering. So um, these are kind of all the groups I got involved with. Aspirations in Computing. Obviously, you all know about this. Russell's awesome. He helped get me engaged in Sparks. Now I help run like monthly events here, which I love. And then I've been a robotics mentor for several teams. That was a great experience. Then Minnesota Technology Association, would totally recommend getting involved with them too. They were great. But anyway, then I started at Target as an intern in June of 2020. And as you can see, it was very different because I started in my room here with my little Target dog coworkers, and I didn't have a desk. So now I have like this little like couch desk, which I really like because I just like to sit back and relax when I'm coding. So I don't need a desk, which works for me. But yeah, so June 2020 to December 2020, I was an intern at Target. Then I started full-time as a software engineer in January of 2021, and I've been here ever since. I'm in this like rotational program, so I've gotten to do like automation work, and I've gotten to do, now I'm doing this really cool like machine learning stuff. Yeah, but I really love it now. But yeah, so anyway, but this white line represents like from like all of this time I hated coding. Like I'm so bad at it. I did not enjoy it. But then here, like in between like 2019 and 2020, like it was crazy. Like I actually started to love coding. So I'm going to talk a little bit now. We've talked about like kind of my story a bit. Now I'm going to talk about like how that happens, because I felt like a lot of the people I interacted with in my classes, they just were like, I was born to be a coder. Like I've been doing this since I was 2, you know, and I was just not that way. But anyway, like I was like, okay, you can actually go from like hating something to loving something. And it was super cool. But anyway, so I came up with my 5 easy steps to like programming. My first lesson is that passion is unnecessary. And like, this is something I feel like I never heard in high school, but like, I always heard like, oh, follow your passion, like, you know, like do what you love. And for me, that wasn't great advice because I didn't really have a passion that was like applicable to like a career, you know, like those two things didn't really work together. Like, or like my passion was like if I had to narrow it down, it'd be like helping people, and you can help people in like basically any career field. So that didn't really help me narrow it down. And yeah, so yeah, follow your passion just wasn't really useful advice because yeah, I could make a career out of helping people. And I thought nursing was the way to do that, but I could also help people through technology. So, but what I found is that as you get better at something, that's when you start to love it. It's not about like, you're not like born with this passion inside of you for like programming. Like it's something like as you get really good at it, then you start to love it. So the time I actually did enjoy coding was after after my junior semester. Like I didn't like coding until my like end of my junior year or middle of my junior year for fall semester. It was like, which is crazy, right? Like I can't believe I stuck with it that long. There's the community around me that helped stick with it. But like once I could actually code without being super confused all the time, I loved it. It was so fun. But now I know like when I'm starting a new programming language or something and I hate it, I know like I will love it. It's just going to take time and effort. Anyway, okay, so don't focus on finding the right work, focus on working right. Yeah, so I feel like instead of focusing on finding like the perfect job or the perfect opportunity, like just focus on like the opportunities you have now and doing them like really well. Like, and two, like sometimes the key is to force yourself through like the hard things. And like that's when the skills will come, right? Like math for me like was not a super great time, but like forcing myself to learn and like actually build those like math muscles was like actually super useful and helpful and made me better. So the rewards will come. You just have to stick with it. Okay, my next lesson is like have great standards, not great expectations. So I think one of the reasons I ended up not loving college as much as I thought I would is because I kind of had these like expectations that I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, college is just going to be wonderful. And it just like happens, right? But like what I didn't realize is that you kind of have to be the one who makes college great. Like, so you have to have standards for yourself, um, to be like the best you can be, and like be like, okay, like kind of like control what you can control. Like, and that's how college will be great, right? Like, um, you know, like go to college and like be like, okay, I can join clubs and I can like go out to eat with people in the dining center and stuff like that. Because that's how you'll like actually have a good experience at college and stuff. Like it's kind of in your hands. It doesn't just happen. Okay, lesson number 4, a great career takes work, patience, and perseverance. So uh yeah, like the point here is like a great career takes work. It's also something that doesn't just happen to you magically. Like you have to put in the effort and the work and the time. And it'll take patience and perseverance, but if you put that in, that's how you get a great career, because great careers are really like rare and valuable. So you have to put in like effort and skills that are rare and valuable. So my next lesson is seek opportunities instead of contemplating your calling. I've known a lot of people who will just like be like, okay, what am I meant to do with my life? Like what, like, I don't know, like what's the next step? Like all like constantly contemplate. And I am very like, I love thinking about the future. And sometimes I can kind of get stuck in that of like, okay, what's next? What's next? Like, where am I going? But a lot of times it's better to like, if you don't know where you're going, to just seek opportunities and try a bunch of stuff out, and you'll kind of end up like just like finding stuff that you enjoy doing, and you'll find stuff that you don't enjoy doing. So a lot of times if you don't know where you're going, it's better to like try things out than just like think about it all the time. Okay, then I also have 3 bonus lessons, unless in case you came last year, because I gave this talk last year too. But anyway, so my bonus lesson number 1. Oh yeah, so this is kind of like just a funny quote I had, but a change in perspective is worth 80 IQ points. A lot of people in technology, you'll notice, like kind of they'll think that they're right all the time. But if you can go in and have an open mind and like be willing to like kind of look at other people's perspectives and like maybe like change your view even, like that will make you much smarter. Because a lot of times I feel like I'm not the smartest person in the room, which like means like I'm totally in a good room to be in. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, like at least like I can learn from other people and be like, okay, like maybe their perspective is a better one. And like you're just adding more tools to your toolbox and stuff, like Hunter would say. So the number 2 lesson I have is surround yourself with and recognize great people. So you want to be around people that you want to be like, right? And you want to like recognize them too, like, because you'll have so many people in your life that will like help you, but you want to make sure that you're thanking them and being grateful. Just because it builds good relationships, and also it's just nice to do, and it'll mean a lot to them. So like just like like thanking your parents, or like thanking teachers who have been amazing, that will help you also get far. And then finally, imposter syndrome can be great. So I don't know if you've heard of imposter syndrome or what that is, but it's basically like doubting your skills and abilities. And it's usually thought of as a super bad thing, like, right, for a good reason too. Like feeling like an imposter does not feel great, but it can be, right? It just means that like it's an opportunity to learn more. So I challenge you to think of like when you're feeling like maybe like you're doubting your skills or something, like just think of it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And also it can be a good thing, because like you can be like just curious, and like it means you're not overly confident. You kind of want to try to be like confident in your skills, but you also want to be humble and that you don't know everything, because no one knows everything in technology, because it's just growing super duper fast. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me talk.